Hi there guys, welcome back to another update from UK Reefer. Thought we'd get this quick update in just because we're going to be doing the big move from the 170 into the 425 within the next week or so. So I thought I'd give you a decent recap on the 170 to show you how it's going, just to show you that it's all still alive and it's all still thriving, and to explain a few bits and bobs that we've got coming up that are quite important. The first important thing to probably talk about is the method that we're going to be using moving into the Red Sea Reefer 425. We had a good think, and I had a really good chat with our supplier, which is Complete Aquatics, what I'll also come on to in a moment. And obviously these systems really don't like big changes. So we decided that obviously it's already having a big change in moving over from the 170 into the 425. I really didn't want to risk anything further by adding a further change of changing the method of what we were running the system on. So we decided to stay with Red Sea, at least for the first 3 months, just to see how we get on. And we're hoping that's going to limit any losses in terms of livestock. Now, that will obviously mean staying with the Red Sea Blue Bucket salt. We've been using that for quite some time now on the 170, and it's been fantastic. So we'll be staying with that. We'll also be staying with the Red Sea Foundation powders, the A, B and C, so the calcium, alkalinity and magnesium. And to be honest with you, I think what I'll do is I'll do a few videos on how you mix those, because I see quite a few questions every now and again from people that are struggling with that. I'm also going to be sticking with the Coral Colours program, the A, B, C and D, along with running the Reef Energy A and B every day, and also the Nopox. After chatting with Complete Aquatics about the method we're looking at moving forward with, they've actually become quite interested in the project in general, which is basically filming our reef tank right from the start as a build series, as openly and honestly as we can possibly get. Now, that's obviously going to include the reef tank in general, all of the livestock, growth, products, supplements. Anything we do within this tank, we're going to try and film it as honestly as we can. So that's going to be showing all of the ups and downs that we're going to experience as we're moving forwards with the tank, along with all the good and bad about kits and products that we'll be using. So stay tuned for that. But yeah, I'm quite happy that we've got somebody like Complete Aquatics behind us that's going to be helping us with content for the channel to help you guys out. So fingers crossed moving forwards, there'll be some really, really decent content coming. Now, as you've seen for the last few minutes, we'll go into the Reefer 170, which has just been thriving since the last update that I gave you on it. As you can see, all of the livestock are doing so well that it's got to a stage now where if I don't move it all over, it's all just going to carry on growing into each other and hitting each other, and in some cases it's starting to kill each other. So if we start with the coral first and then move on to the fish and then go into the sump area, which to be honest with you hasn't changed since the last update, and then we'll start to talk about what we're going to be doing to do the big move. So if we start with the LPS first, so we've obviously got the green bubble coral in the bottom right hand corner. I've had that in the tank probably around 2 months now, and it's just going unbelievably well. It's going so well that it's actually starting to sting the Duncan on the left hand side, which obviously I've had for quite some time now, and it's gained so many heads. I've lost count of how many it's got on it now. And it's also stinging the candy canes above it. It's just doing really, really well, just based off the parameters that we're running, which I'll go into shortly, and the Reef Energy that we're putting in every day. It's just doing really well. As you can see, the torch above it, that's also thriving. It's gained 2 heads since the last update that I did for you. But again, I have to constantly save things like the candy canes, which are to the right of it. It keeps sending out these really long, thin sweeper tentacles that latch on to the coral around it and just start to sting it and kill it. So I've had to save the candy canes a few times, along with the pink goniophora to the left of it. The hammer coral, that's pretty much doing the same. Obviously, it's recovered really, really well since we had that wave maker issue. It's got well over 20 heads on it now, and it's made this just a real nice sized ball. But again, that keeps sending out these long, thin sweeper tentacles, which are just starting to sting the lobo underneath it. But it's also stinging the green stylophora, which is up and to the right. All of the underside is just getting stung by those sweeper tentacles on the hammer. So it's got to a stage now where I've really just got to move it all over and spread everything out nicely, just to give everything some room to grow, just so it's not going to keep getting stung by things. The bubble coral in the bottom left hand corner, again, that's growing so well now that it's got to a stage where I can't clean the glass on the left hand side, which is quite annoying. I'm a bit of a stickler for the glass being perfect, so every morning I'll come down, and while the kettle's on, I'll give the glass a quick once over with the Tunzi Care magnet, just to keep it nice and clean. But as you can see on that left hand side, it's just got to a stage now where if I've run the care magnet down there, I'm risking hitting that bubble coral. So I've got to a stage now, because I'm doing the move, I've decided just to leave it and let it annoy me for a bit, just until I've got it all moved over. The SPS on the top, again, is doing really well. All I can put that down to is stability. This tank has been rock stable for months and months and months now. So I run my alkalinity at 9.3. I run my calcium at 450. And I run my magnesium at 1350. Now, every day I'm dosing the Red Sea supplements, the powders that you mix up yourself, the A, B and C. So alkalinity wise, I'm dosing 60 ml a day. Calcium wise, I'm dosing 7 ml a day. And magnesium wise, I'm dosing, again, 7 ml a day. And I'm finding that by keeping those at that, it literally is keeping the tank rock steady, along with the 10% water change that I do every weekend. As I find that either the alkalinity or something is starting to drop, I'll just gently increase the dosage per day using the Kamara app, because I've got the Kamara X4 Wi-Fi doser. Slightly raise it, and then I'll check it a few hours later just to make sure nothing's going crazy. So yeah, it's just going so well. You can really, really dial the tank in well with these Red Sea Reef Foundation powders, supplements that we make. Because they're not the strongest, yeah, you probably have to dose more, but because they're not the strongest, they're very, very easy to dial in. As you can see, the purple stylophora that we put in on the last update, that's going from strength to strength. Constantly, the polyps are out all day long. We're getting constant new heads, nice bright white tips on the tops of them, so that's showing a decent amount of growth. Along with the green stylophora to the left of it, again, that's doing really well. And in the back, I actually picked up another small frag of purple stylo, just because we're planning on having a bit of a frag project sometime in the future, probably in the next 3 to 6 months. But it was nice and cheap at the LFS, so I picked up one of those just to do a bit of an experiment with some fragging in the near future. Now if we move on to the fish stock, we've been doing really well. We've not had any losses. We've actually had a couple of gains, to be fair. So if we start to go into the original livestock we'd got, so we'd got the 2 red Fiji clowns. They've been doing really well. They keep cleaning the back glass as if they're going to start laying some eggs. So I'm a little bit gutted that I'm going to be moving them over, but fingers crossed they'll just start that back up as soon as they get into the new tank. All the wrasses are doing really well. The peacock, the yellow and the melanaris. All have grown a little bit, to be fair. All are probably ready to go into the new tank now. They're going to get a lot of new swim room in there, but they're all doing really well. The 2 mandarins that we put in, they've been going from strength to strength. I was obviously a little bit worried because they weren't taking frozen food, but we've got such a large population of pods in this tank. I mean, I came down one night and accidentally flicked the light switch on. Normally I leave it in the dark, and I could just see this ball of pods in the front of the tank just buzzing around. So that eased any worries that I'd got about food. But I've also been growing my own pods over the last 3 months while the 425's been set up, and I've been constantly seeding that tank with pods and then keep growing some more just to make sure that tank's well and truly seeded for them moving in, with them not taking frozen. But they're doing really well. We've also got the orange spot goby. He's a new addition. They'd got him at the LFS and he was eating frozen as well as obviously sifting the sand, and I'd wanted one since I lost the original one right at the start. So we took him on and he's been doing really well, really does a good job on the sand, still eats frozen, he's a little workhorse, so he's doing a great job. And obviously, as you can see, we've got a baby Regal tang. Now, I know this is only a 170, but he's been in a few weeks, and the plan is just to get him into the 425, where he's going to have a lot more swim room and a lot more grow time in there. Obviously, eventually, he is going to outgrow this tank, which is just going to force me to upgrade, which is never a bad thing. But yeah, she's been doing really well. As with most of these things, I popped into the local fish shop for some floss because I'd run out. Got in there, had a good chat with one of my mates, and he'd actually had some new Regals in a few weeks previous, and he'd changed supplier. They were importing them in and they weren't having much luck with them, so they'd started to get them from TMC again, and this was the first batch they'd had in. And to be fair, they were the healthiest Regals I'd ever seen at this shop in particular. So we looked at it. My missus really wanted one. Obviously, I was a little bit reluctant because of how big they can get. But we looked at it. The price was good, so we thought, you know what, sod it, we'll go for one. It'll have a couple of weeks in the 170. Let's see how he gets on. If he gets on okay, we'll move him into the 425. And to be fair, touch wood, he's been doing really well. If we now just take a quick look in the sump, nothing's really changed apart from the fact that I've took the Tunzi ATO off the tank and installed that on the 425. So I've literally just reverted back to the stock ATO that came with the Reefer. It's absolutely fine, working fine. It's just a little bit annoying that you have to top it up every 2 to 3 days. But it's only a short-term thing now, obviously, with the move looming over us. The Miracle Muds as it was, I'm planning on moving that into the 425 along with buying some more Miracle Mud, just because I've personally had some decent success with it, so I'll be topping that up. And the Curve 5 skimmer, again, workhorse, that's been working really well. Takes a lot of contaminants out of the water, and I've decided obviously that the Curve 7 is going to be used on the new tank permanently. The return pump, the Jabo DC4000, again, a workhorse. I think I've cleaned it 2 to 3 times maximum in the time it's been in this tank. It's just touch wood, it's never let me down. So that's going really well. And then obviously we've got the Kamara X4 Wi-Fi doser, which is again going to be moving into the new tank. Really accurate. I do calibrate it just to make sure that it's dosing the right amount into the tank. And it is literally spot on. It might move out of sync a touch, but nothing really to be worried about. So I'm happy with that going into the new tank. I'm probably going to sign that off there, guys. But I will leave you with a few shots of the 170 before it gets moved over into the 425. In the next video, we're going to be obviously doing the big move over from the 170 into the 425. Obviously, I'd be lying if I said I wasn't worried about it, but at the same time, I am looking forward to it, and I am looking forward to getting all the livestock happy again, rather than stinging each other and killing each other. If you like the videos and if you like the channel and the build series, please subscribe if you want to see future updates. Obviously, if you like the videos, drop us a like below. And again, if you've got any comments or questions or advice, drop that in the comments below, and I'll obviously get back to you as quickly as I possibly can. I'll also drop in below links to Complete Aquatics. That they've been great with me, so it's the least I can do. If you need anything at all, reefing related or aquatics related, obviously drop them a line. Chris is a really good guy there, and so are the team. But I'll catch you in the next one, guys. Thanks again for watching, and thanks again for your support. I really appreciate it. Bye-bye.